Hey, it's another week of the Manson Brothers Show. We're going to throw a little curveball this week, going with some Roger Corman and his, I don't know if we can call anything by Roger Corman a classic. It's very memorable for a hell of a lot of different reasons that we're going to get into.
Maybe a hack job.
If you like things that have to do with larvae, this is right up your alley.
Oh, like what comes out of the volcano. Boom, and the larvae goes down.
That's lava. Anyway,
it's good soap.
We're going to be right back with Roger Corman's Galaxy of Terror. Stay tuned. And we're back. I'm your host, Stone Manson. It's the Manson Brothers Show. I'm here with my brother, Rocky Balboa, or whatever that hat thing is he has.
It's actually a Rocky Balboa hat.
Ew,
Carlos, a.k.a. Skull Manson.
We're not going to bring up anything about condominiums in the show.
No.
Thanks to our good buddy, Rocky Balboa.
He never uses
them. Never use them.
Anyway, we're talking about Galaxy of Terror.
Oh, my God. So, I mean, you know, if you haven't seen this one,
it really is worth a watch.
It's kind of worth a watch. It's a Corman movie, obviously.
Yeah,
it's a ripoff.
But it makes no bones about it being a ripoff. Right. It's not trying to tell you it's original. It's a definite ripoff of Ridley Scott's Alien.
Yeah, I actually think the concept behind it is pretty great. It's just execution sometimes not so much, but
budget.
Wow. Well, the guy never lost $1.
Nope, but because he never spent one.
Yes, but you bring up a great point because this movie has some extremely intriguing connections to the entire Alien.
It sure does. And they're very obvious.
That we will get into very quickly. But again, if you're not familiar with Roger Corman, he was a low-budget exploitation.
Still is.
Yeah, I guess you're right. He is to this day. He did, you know, Caged Heat and things like, not Caged Heat, but what were all the ones, you know, like Reform School Girls.
Yeah, Reform School Girls. He did the original Fast and Furious film.
Had Death Race 2000.
Death Race 2000, Humanoids from the Deep, and on.
So I think there's a lot of great things about Galaxy of Terror. One of the great things to start off is the cast. I mean, it's not only the cast, but the crew. So let's
talk about cast first. Yeah,
let's
get to the cast. So what's interesting, I think, about this, before we name names, the lead character of the captain of the ship is a woman. Now, I know people are like, oh, duh, Skull. Okay, but back in 1980, when this thing came out, you didn't see a lot of movies that had women in positions of power. And not only is she in a position of power, she's a badass.
Well, I was going to say, they give her a backstory where she is the lone survivor of this great Starfleet
And isn't
battle.
it the same actress that played George Costanza's, like, to-be mother-in-law?
Yes. Who was drunk all the time.
Who's drunk all the time. Well, she plays it, and she does awesome, and she's a really cool character.
She's a great character. I don't remember the actress's name, but she's great.
Yeah, and who else is in it is Ray Walston, who played Mr. Hand in Fast Times at
My Favorite Martian.
My Favorite Martian. He played Uncle Martin. Also, Aaron Moran, who played Joni Cunningham from Happy Days and
Joni Loves Chachi. Yeah. Well, Eddie Albert's son was the lead.
Yeah, he was the lead guy. He was actually a pretty popular actor at that time, and something happened to him.
He looked like a lead. He was kind of Tom Selleck-ish.
Sure was. Oh, I know what happened to him. He took care of his dad, who I think Eddie Albert died in the late 2000s, maybe, and of dementia. And then subsequently, a couple of years later, his son died of the same thing. Yeah, very young, of the same thing. Tragic.
Well, I think our horror fans out there will recognize this next name, Sid Hag.
Sid Hag.
And
I think he plays the coolest character.
He does play a really cool character.
He's like the weapons expert guy. You know? He's sort of like the Yoda.
Yeah.
Right? Would 100%. You say? Yeah. He's like the Yoda.
He's the Zen-like
guy. He's the samurai, right?
They don't use guns. They have crystals.
It's like the samurai sword. We're going to kill you. We're just going to do it a different weapon.
100%.
So he's got, which we'll talk about the weapon thing later, but he's got some cool weapons.
And then after that,
probably the biggest one of all time. Right?
Well, I was going to, and quite frankly, this movie gives you the first look into Robert Englund as you know, Freddy Krueger, and we'll get into why later. But Freddy Krueger Robert Englund plays another one of the crew members.
Yep.
He does a great job. It's one of the things about this movie is the acting is actually really good.
I know. So, and I think
there's a lot of seasoned actors.
So Robert Englund also played one of the alien lizard people on V.
That was after this
came out. Was it after?
Yeah,
so maybe this one helped the other one. I don't know. Super nice guy, Robert Englund. He ate up all our time. If we could, but that's okay. Whatever. We don't hold.
So let's finish with. I don't think many people are going to know this young lady, but they do after you see the film.
Taffy.
Yeah. So Taffy.
What's her last name?
Oh, I think it's O'Toole or Taffy or something.
But that's her real Taffy. That's her name, and she's hot.
Yeah.
Then
she's clearly in the film.
And actually, I seen a recent picture of her, and she's still a very attractive lady, man.
Yeah. Well, she's the Corman girl of the Corman movie, right?
Right.
She's the reason why they're in there. So the premise of the film is that these Starfleet people are sent to this Morganthus, right?
Morganthus is the planet.
Is the planet to find another lost ship or a ship that has no longer is in communication.
Sound familiar, folks?
Yes, and shot for shot sequence.
Oh my god!
Exactly,
the alien.
The river that goes across.
Yeah, they're walking there in the same. It's the same costumes, the same scene when they're walking. When we were watching it, so we didn't realize this until later on when we rewatched it, and we were like, "Wow, that's like a complete scene for scene rip off of Alien."
So let's get into if you watch the movie Aliens and you go back and watch Galaxy of Terror. You will notice interior scenes that are incredibly similar.
And why are they similar?
Well, the second unit director and art department, I think the lead in the art department was this guy. I think he's got a film out now.
You may have heard about it.
James, I think they called him Jimmy back then.
Yeah.
James Cameron.
Yes,
was the second unit AD on Galaxy of Terror.
And he went on to do Aliens and many other.
And Bill Paxton was a set designer who also went on to Aliens. So those two names were in cast. They were crew.
They were crew.
And when they went and you watch the movie Aliens, you're like, dude, these interiors look just like.
Well, what's funny is the interiors of that ship are made out of Big Mac boxes or something, literally.
Right. Yes.
Right?
Big Mac boxes, and the suits that the Starfleet people wore got for pennies on the dollar from the last season of Battlestar Galactica that got canceled. And then
like if we were going to the producers and saying, hey, look, we got an idea to save some money. We're going to put Big Mac cartons on the wall.
Whatever works.
Like, how well
that's movie magic. You would never notice it.
No.
You know? And James Cameron obviously had a much bigger budget when he did Alien.
Oh, yeah, 100%. But a lot, you'll notice a lot of the same stuff from Galaxy of Terror, which is a very low budget film, to Aliens, which was a very large budget film. So, except that Aliens is really good.
Yeah.
Now, Galaxy of Terror is good in a different way. Yeah, it's entertaining.
Very entertaining.
If you like low budget horror films, which
it's not low budget like
Halloween.
Well, no. I mean, it's not low budget like the Italian City of the Living.
Oh no, it's not that.
It's not like that.
But it might be. But Cameron just did it better. Or not Cameron. Corman did it better.
Together. Yeah, both of them together.
Corman was a master of really stretching a dollar, and his movies aren't all that bad for as cheap as they are.
If you watch his movies, you will see scenes from another movie in the later movie, which he did to make money. If they show a spaceship flying through the sky,
they'll show it.
You'll see that in 3 different movies, without a doubt.
He definitely reused. He made the most of stock footage.
100%.
He was like a more successful Ed Wood.
Yeah. I think that's a really good way of putting it.
Yeah.
So the premise behind the film is obviously they've gone here, they figure out that there's nobody left alive, and as they go along, they start to figure out, which you don't really get until the end, that it's basically whatever you kind of fear is the thing that'll come.
It's going to come and get you
in this film. And it starts off with there's a guy who's just really, for lack of a better term, fucking scared.
Yeah.
That he's scared of everything. So he dies immediately, and then
he's the red shirt.
The captain kind of goes down in the tunnel, right?
Yeah.
And you know that he's fearing getting older, and they kind of talk about
which character was that? Was that Ray Walston or was that Eddie Albert's?
No,
I don't remember.
Neither of them. There was another guy who was the actual captain,
oh, that's right, at the beginning,
on
right?
On the that was like
on the other ship that they're looking at. Yeah.
So he gets the the worms that come out of the holes in the deal, and so they start to kind of piece together. Eddie Albert does that there's this kind of fear thing, which then leads us to Sid Hag.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the thing that gets Sid Hag, right?
Well, everything gets everybody that way, but the interesting part is the different fears that everybody has and how they come back to get them. So Sid Hag, while he reveres and respects the crystals, he also really fears the crystals, right? And it's the crystals that ultimately wind up, after being smashed, get him in the arm, and he's forced to,
he's got to chop his arm off
before it digs its way up.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, it actually is a very cool film and has perhaps the oddest sex scene.
Would you consider it that?
I don't know.
You know what? Before we get on that, because that's like a huge topic in itself, I want to get to our viewer emails this week, because we need some time to really
process that one and set it up.
And set up why it's even in the film.
Folks, if you're not having fun yet,
get ready. I got to get ready for this one. So, your email this week comes to us from Sam B. from Bangor, Maine.
Is it Bangor or Bangor?
I think it's Bangor. Wasn't there a movie called The Banger Sisters?
I don't know.
I think there was.
Maybe. There was, yeah.
The Bangor Sisters.
No, I think it was the Banger Sisters.
No. Anyway, Bangor, Maine. I imagine great seafood up there. Is it inland? I don't know. Sam, let us know.
I don't know. It's one of those states I've actually not been to.
I haven't been to Maine either.
No.
Well, there wasn't a hotbed of wrestling. No. Well, Portland we went to.
Oh, yeah, Portland. But we were in and out of there.
We just don't remember it.
But
it was cold.
We digest. But anyway, go on.
So, Sam writes, guys, great show. Love it. Thanks for talking about Galaxy of Terror.
Drunk.
Probably. Yeah. You mentioned the crystals as a cool weapon. What are your top 5 favorite movie weapons of all time? Should we both list the top 5 or kind of combine?
Let's combine.
Collaborate.
Yeah, let's collaborate. I'll name you one. Movie weapons, do they have to be heroic or in general?
No, I think in general.
Okay. I like the triple-bladed sword from Sword and the Sorcerer, where the blade shoots out.
Are we doing it? Because that might be number 1.
I don't know if it's number 1, but I like that one.
That's pretty badass.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to go with the crystals. I think the crystals is a kick-ass movie weapon.
I like the glaive from the movie Crawl. A forgotten early 80s film, and it kind of looks like it's sort of like a Japanese throwing star, except it does bigger and does
hold it.
Yeah, it does different shit.
It's a great one.
I thought it was cool.
I'm gonna go with next. Let me think here. I'm gonna go with the quad sawed-off shotgun from Phantasm 2, I think.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty cool. That 4-barrel shotgun.
Bannister had.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That thing's badass.
Does this count Thor's hammer? Or does it have to be a...
I mean, I think it's a little too studio for what we're talking about.
Okay, all right. Then I'm going to go with the makeshift crossbows on the arms of the guys in the Road Warrior with Mel Gibson. I thought those were pretty cool.
That's not bad.
Yeah,
that's a pretty good one.
Pretty good.
Is that 5? Or should we go with an honorable mention?
Go to honorable mention. Go ahead.
Gosh, I like that crossbow thing. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty cool, man.
I'll go with the boomstick from Army of Darkness.
But isn't that just a shotgun, though?
Yeah, I guess you're right. How about the clipped-on? Does that not count?
The chainsaw arm?
Yeah,
it's pretty cool. Yeah, I think that counts because it's not. He attaches it to his arm. Yeah,
smart or whatever.
Yeah, I'll go with that. How about you, Phil? You tell us.
Yeah, you guys write in.
Give us your favorite weapon.
This is one of those where we're clearly missing a ton of different options. So, guys, write in. Tell us what your favorite weapons are. Sam B, Bangor, Maine. Thanks, brother.
Keep watching.
We really appreciate
Keep watching. You're the only one.
Input. Whether you're the only one or not. Keep watching. So
now let's get to perhaps the oddest. Would you call it sexual assault?
Well, let's set this up first to explain how this particular scene came to be. So, Roger Corman, in all of his infinite penny pinching wisdom
and exploitative nature.
Oh well, yeah, forgot about that. Had promised the financiers of the film a sex scene involving young Miss Taffy O'Toole, or whatever her last name was.
Because she was hot.
She was. Everybody can understand why you would want to see her in her birthday suit.
Right.
For
or
lack
naked.
of a better term.
Yeah.
But interestingly, from what I have read, they actually used a body double.
That's what I heard too. So they hired this chick, and then they had to hire another chick to do the naked scene. Which, hey, man, I don't blame
whoever they brought in did a hell of a job filling in.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
Right, because she was equally as attractive.
So, what the financiers did not know is that Miss Taffy would not be performing this sex scene with another human being, male, female, or otherwise. Her character, when they come upon the eroding arm of
Sid Hag,
they see a bunch of maggots on it, and she quickly mentions
she's scared of maggots,
scared of worms, and with that, we see this worm start to grow into a giant maggot, basically.
Yeah, I mean,
and as she's wandering through the catacombs of this,
there's no cats in this thing.
No catacombs, like it would be a hallway.
They don't use combs.
Jesus Christ Almighty!
Yes.
Thank God we're at the end of the day.
Drunk.
Give me that back, and I am not. Don't you ever touch my booze again. So she's wandering through the hallways of a mountain, which they don't have hallways, but anyway. And we slowly see the large
this
maggot
big
maggot coming up behind her. And with that, the large larvae
maggot monster.
They begin to have what can only be referenced as
stuff that Mom would hide our eyes when she would take us to R-rated movies.
I think she probably told us to close our eyes at that point. It was probably more because
true Hispanic fashion, she would take us to R-rated movies when we were 5.
Yeah. Well, that's another topic. This can only be referred to as
a rape scene. It's a rape scene. She gets raped by a giant maggot.
Yes. If I'm a financier, I'm like, that's not the sex scene I was hoping for.
Whoa, guys, pump the brakes. This isn't what we asked for. Right. But it is a sex scene.
Technically. So, and I think even
Corman sell that to
I just think money he was like, people. I think he showed him the cut and was like, well, that's
it. Right. You want to give me more
There's
money?
There's a dude in the maggot suit, so it counts.
But it's definitely on a different plane of disturbing.
Yeah, and we haven't even gotten to the really disturbing part of it, which is ultimately her demise is not caused by the actual rape
by herself.
It is I guess we can just call
it the climax.
Thank you very much. I was searching for some type of remotely appropriate term.
So basically, she orgasms to death.
Yes, and
I mean, some would argue not a bad way to go.
Well, I guess if it wasn't by giant larvae, maybe not horrible. I believe actually they had to cut part of it because they were on the verge of an X rating because of her how she was responding.
That's how Uncle Gustavo died. Uncle Gustavo died in bed with some young chick.
You know that all these people you think are uncles were not uncles, right? They were just dudes who hung out around the house and we called them uncle.
What?
Yeah. Dude, there's nobody named Gustavo it was Dad's buddies hung out around.
No, Uncle Gustavo.
The easiest way would say, well, why is this guy hanging around the house? He's your uncle. You know, we're not getting.
Well, anyway, that's how he died. So not a bad way to go.
Rape by large worm.
The chick wasn't happy.
Is the topic, and it was really memorable.
It was memorable. It disturbed me as a kid.
It's been talked about.
I'm like, of the ways to go, like raped by giant worm.
I think the only other thing it can be compared to, and we'll cover this film at some point in time, would be the
humanoids from the deep.
No, the kind of hell scene from Event Horizon.
Oh,
oh my God, I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, right? So, we're gonna have to cover that in a whole other thing.
Yeah,
but it's pretty graphic too, considering the budget.
There's a lot of sloshing and. I was going to say slurping.
Actually, I thought it was pretty inventive too.
So if that's your thing, you're definitely going to want to see this movie.
If you love movies with giant worms that rape people, this movie
this is definitely for you.
If not, you might want to fast forward through that part, but it's definitely, would you call that the money shot?
Dude, that's just terrible. On that, we should cut right there. So you know what? Let's actually move on and talk about Robert Englund.
Yes.
So I do truly believe that Robert Englund in the film has a standoff against himself.
Yeah.
He's clearly, for whatever reason, his fear is him.
Hey, you got the witch facing back. There, better.
Sorry about that. Witchy woman. And I think in this you get the first glimpse of Robert Englund with the Freddy Krueger look, because his altar that he's facing
is evil
has that look.
Yeah, it's kind of sinister, right?
Across the way. And it looks just like
Freddy Krueger. Maybe like the shadow of things to come, perhaps.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think somebody probably took a look at that and thought, "Hey, this dude looks like."
Yeah, he's he could be creepy if he wanted to.
He have the things.
Yeah, because like
kill little kids.
Yeah. Yeah, and as we know, the rest.
Yeah, I said it
because it must be nice to spend 4 minutes in a film and become an icon.
You can get $140 for an autograph. All you need is 4 minutes in a class.
Holy cow!
As long as it's not the Manson Brothers.
By the way, speaking of that. You can pick up your Manson Brothers Midnight Zombie Massacre DVDs and Blu-rays on MansonBrothers.com, along with Manson Brothers hats and other merchandise like T-shirts and pictures, which we'll autograph for you, even if you don't want us to, because that's the kind of guys we are. Drop us a line, ask us a question. We always respond. 100%.
Yep.
You can also watch the show. It's MansonBrothers.com and ArrowInTheHead.show.com.
I want to make one more comment about the Corman part of this film and going back to the larva.
Sorry, YouTube.com/ArrowInTheHead show. I had to correct that. Go ahead.
Always interrupting.
I know.
Constantly.
It's my job. I'm your brother.
You make me lose my train of thought here. I get confused.
Better drink more.
I will. This will bring it back. Oh. So, I think for a Corman film, this movie has a surprising lack of boobs in it.
Yeah,
even though the boobs that are in it are spectacular.
But compared to other Corman films, it doesn't. It's not as
not many boobs.
It doesn't go to.
Well, Erin Moran wasn't getting naked.
No, right? Thank God.
She gets exploded. Her eyeballs pop out.
Poor Erin Moran. She had a rough life.
Yeah,
poor chick.
Especially having to go from all that fame.
And then Scott Baio now, he claims he's blacklisted because he's of a different political persuasion. Now, is he blacklisted, or there just isn't a lot of call for Chachi Arcola?
Well, let me tell you, if there's one person on this
Scott,
planet,
I like you. I like you.
So if there's one person on this planet you don't need to feel bad for, it's Scott Baio. That guy.
Is he loaded?
He's not loaded. What he is loaded with is the amount of tail he got during his career.
That's Chachi.
That guy, I'm sorry, but he stooped everyone in Hollywood, including like Pamela Anderson.
Really?
Oh yeah.
But everybody had her.
Well, let me tell you who did and who wanted to. She'd probably jump all over me now, but
I don't know.
Sorry.
Pa said he hated.
So anyway, Scott Baio, he had a great career.
Do you know that Pa claimed he?
Whatever. Dude.
Claimed he had an affair with him and Mom were split.
Get out of here.
He's full of shit. Tells people everything.
So surprising lack of boobs, but surprising storyline that continues to progress is Eddie Albert. Everybody's getting picked off.
Right.
Eddie Albert begins to figure out what's going on. He knows the fears, and then he's forced to basically take on not only everybody's fears, but all of the dead crew members.
Their fears.
In order to continue their fears and them.
Yeah.
The dead versions.
Yeah.
So he's whipping through, doing some Gymkata stuff. He does some somersaults and shit.
Gymkata. We have to do that movie. What a piece of shit. Yeah, anyway, go ahead.
What do you mean? There's not a pommel horse out in the middle of the woods out here?
In an alley?
Yeah. Or like an uneven parallel bars?
God.
I know for a fact from taking a hike the other day, there's a perfect uneven parallel bar stick that's hanging out there.
And it's right in the right spot when people attack you.
Well, of course. Where wouldn't it be?
Nowadays, you'd have one that would fold up and put in your pocket and you just bring it out, right? Well, we're talking about Galaxy of Terror,
right, Galaxy of Terror. So, eventually, he winds up meeting up with the Master from Margetis. And the Master turns out to be the cook from the ship, who's played by Mr. Han.
Mr. Han.
As a matter of fact, and I don't remember the line, I'd be paraphrasing, but the captain in the beginning.
Paraphrasing one time. It was scary. I don't do it. Don't jump out of a perfectly good aircraft. It's just silly.
That's parachuting.
No, parachuting is where you go and there's a target and they put you go
that's
pull.
That's like the biathlon. Never mind.
Dude, now you're getting into gender shit. I don't want to talk about that stuff. It's too hot button. Anyway,
can you talk about Galaxy of Terror for a minute? Because I
fine if you want to. So he meets Mr. Hand.
Well, and basically Mr. Hand tells him that since you've passed all of these things, you are now the new master. So Eddie Albert's character is now the new master and has to kind of hand down these horrible, whatever
deaths.
The fear thing continues.
Yeah, but they never explain why. Like, why is the thing out there? Why does he have to do that?
Well, why stuff you want to leave open to the imagination.
Yeah, but you'd think if it was this godlike creature, which it is, and that's what they do. It's like, why are they doing?
Well, he even asked him why.
And how many people wander into that part of the universe?
I want to find out. Somebody who's seen Galaxy of Terror, email me or him or both of us. What George's mother, soon-to-be mother-in-law, says to Mr. Hand. It's a comment about cooks. Basically, like, if you need to find the culprit, look at the cook, kind of thing.
Kind of like the butler.
It's a lot of foreshadowing. It's a lot of foreshadowing.
Is it like the butler did it?
The butler did it with the candlestick.
In the rec room. In the rec room, yeah.
Was there a rec room? Was that Clue?
Yeah, Clue.
5?
I don't know. It was Colonel Mustard. Colonel Mustard in the parlor with the candlestick.
Shitty name for a colonel, by the way.
Mustard?
No, Mustard.
Somebody in England made that up.
So, Corman Classic.
Colonel Mustard and Captain Ketchup.
We will absolutely do more Corman films at some point in time.
We got to do Humanoids from the Deep.
Humanoids from the Deep. Death Race 2000. There's a bunch of them.
But Galaxy of Terror, worth your time. Check it out, especially if you like science fiction, space-oriented horror.
I think if you like Alien or Aliens,
you'll appreciate
you should absolutely watch it.
You'll giggle your ass off.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a heckler.
No.
But it's
no, I think about it. It is a heckler, but it's not like
it's appreciable.
It is. It's endearing. It's a good solid film. It really is.
If you had to face your biggest fear, what would it be?
Face my biggest fear? Yeah. Our mother. Biggest fear.
It's not my biggest fear.
No, because she loves you.
What's not to love?
Where do I start?
My biggest fear would be running out of booze. Like if somehow an empty bottle of Jack Daniels could take me on, that'd be terrible.
I don't know, Skull. I was running through the woods and there was this giant empty bottle of Jack Daniels chasing me.
Thankfully, there was a pommel horse right by there, and I dispensed of him in no time whatsoever.
And with that, we'll see you next week.
We gotta go. Hey, folks, keep tuning in. Thank you so much. We love all of you. Send those emails to us. That's our favorite part of the show. Until next time, I'm Stone Manson and my brother Skull.
And we'll see you later, shitty fans.
See you on the flip. See you next week. Put those cards. Put those shopping carts away. Till next week.
You've had enough.
Have another.